This is the urban debate on Magicbricks Now. I'm Faye D'Souza. It's an appalling day in the city of Mumbai. An RTI activist, Bhupendra Vira, was shot dead, point blank and in cold blood in his own home while his wife was in the other room. His fault? Fighting against illegal construction in the city of Mumbai. Can there be a more chilling reminder of the deplorable levels of corruption and criminality in the matters of real estate in this country? This happened 1 month after the victim told the police he would been receiving death threats. The police did nothing. Is there no safety for those who fight for justice? Who will protect those who fight for citizens' voices? Bhupendra Vira was allegedly murdered for his relentless fight against illegal land dealings involving former Congress corporator Razak Khan. Razak Khan and his son Amjad are now in police custody, and we also understand the Bandra court has awarded judicial custody of both of the accused until the 24th of this month. Disha Shah, who's been tracking this case, sent us this report.
On Monday, the Wakola police station has arrested the former Congress corporator Razak Khan and his son Amjad Khan in connection with the murder of RTI activist Bhupendra Vira, who was shot dead at his Wakola residence on late Saturday evening. In fact, police officials here, they told us that both of them have been booked under section 302, which is murder, and it's a non-bailable offence. In fact, during the course of investigation, police found out that Vira had led a campaign against land mafia and illegal encroachments and structures by Razak Khan, and in his RTI complaint he had clearly mentioned that Razak Khan has close to 150 illegal structures here in Kalina alone, and that should be demolished as soon as possible. In fact, he had put a similar request to the Mumbai civic body BMC, but when we spoke to the family members of the late Vira, they told us that both the police officials and the civic body BMC failed to take any action at that point in time. In fact, what we understand is that from his family members is that the late Vira used to get threat calls from Razak Khan and his family that his life would be in danger if he would make any more complaints against Razak Khan or any of his family members against the illegal structures. In fact, police here, they told us that hours before the attack, Razak Khan had received an order from Lok Ayukta saying that 4 of his illegal structures would be demolished by 21st of October after receiving a complaint from the late Vira. Of course, this agitated Razak Khan and his family is what police told us, and that was the motive behind the attack and the murder of the late Vira. In fact, at this point in time, police officials tell us that they are searching the other members of Razak Khan's family, the accused that involves 3 of his sons and 1 son-in-law. But what police officials confirm at this point in time is that strict and stringent punishment will take place, and it's going to be a non-bailable offence. This is Disha Shah reporting here for Magicbricks Now.
कल रात को लगभग 9:30 से 10 के दरमियान भूपेंद्र वीरा कालीना एरिया है वाकोला में, उस जगह पे हत्या की वारदात हुई है। जो प्राथमिक हमारा इन्वेस्टिगेशन हुआ है उसमें उसके हिसाब से उनके सिर पे फायर किया गया है। उसके बाद अभी आगे का इन्वेस्टिगेशन चालू है। हमने मर्डर 302 के तहत गुना दाखिल किया है।
सर, कितने लोग आए थे, कुछ जानकारी मिली है, क्या वजह हो सकती है?
नहीं, अभी हमारा जो इन्वेस्टिगेशन है वो प्राइमरी स्टेज में है। इसके बारे में जल्दी ही ज़्यादा जानकारी मिलेगी जब इन्वेस्टिगेशन हमारा थोड़ा आगे बढ़ेगा।
सर, इस एक्यूज्ड को इसके बारे में क्या कोई थ्रेट मिली थी?
अभी उसका इन्वेस्टिगेशन चालू है, उनका पीछे का बैकग्राउंड निकालना चालू है, और इसके बारे में फिलहाल कुछ भी बोलना संभव नहीं है।
1 महीने पहले उन्होंने बोल दिया था कि मेरे को बहुत ज़्यादा खतरा है इस इंसान से, ये कभी भी कुछ भी कर सकता है। बट उस वक्त आई थिंक पुलिस ने प्रोटेक्शन देना चाहिए था, बट क्यों पुलिस ने ये एक्शन नहीं लिया और प्रोटेक्शन नहीं दिया, आई डोंट नो। बीएमसी सबसे ज़्यादा रिस्पॉन्सिबल है क्योंकि उसने वक्त दिया रज़ाक खान को ये सब प्लानिंग करके क्राइम करने का, और उसमें कहते हैं ना आग में घी डालने का काम पुलिस ने किया कि प्रोटेक्शन नहीं दिया। इन लोगों को बहुत ही स्ट्रॉन्ग पनिशमेंट मिलनी चाहिए, बहुत ही, और जो ये डिमोलिशन का काम है वो जल्द से जल्द होना चाहिए।
कल 9:30 बजे ये घटना हुई, 9 से 9:15 के बीच में घटना हुई। मेरे पापा पे फायरिंग हुआ है, मेरी मम्मी और पापा घर पे थे। हाँ है, डाउट तो है, हमारे लैंडलॉर्ड पे रज़ाक खान।
Appalling state of affairs here in Mumbai. When Vira came home last night and sat down to watch television in his home, his wife was in the kitchen. Someone walked into his home and shot him point blank. Some of the visuals you will see on this show will be a little disturbing. If you have small children in the room, you'd be advised to ask them to leave the room. If you find visuals disturbing, this might bother you. The police have arrested 2 people, Razak Khan and his son Amjad Khan, and they have promised us swift action. But is this enough? This is a person who went to the police a month before he was murdered in cold blood, and the police gave him no protection. His claim, his fault was fighting against illegal corruption in the BMC. When will the whistleblowers receive protection? How corrupt is the system right now on our local levels with corporators and people who are making money off land in Mumbai, making so much money that a crime like this seemed possible. Joining me on the show this evening, Charan Singh Sapra, spokesperson of the Congress Party. Remember, Razak Khan was a member of the Congress Party. Through the course of this conversation, Abha Singh will join us as well. Shailesh Gandhi, former CIC and RTI activist. Vikram Singh, former DGP of Uttar Pradesh. Sujay, Kantawala, senior lawyer. And Krishnaraj, RTI activist himself. I want to welcome everybody to the show right now. Krishnaraj, I will start with you. It is a scary job right now to be an RTI activist.
Yes.
What is your reaction to what we are seeing on our screen right now?
I think Vira's wife said it absolutely right when she said that BMC is the biggest culprit in this whole thing. And the police is, as she said, aag mein ghee dal rahi hai. You see, what happens is...
No, but you know, I want to point out our visual that we're looking at on our screen right now. You see those 2 policemen now, today, stationed outside of Bhupendra Vira's house. Today. After he was shot yesterday. After he asked and begged for a month for police protection. After he received death threats every day.
Exactly.
The police action comes in today. It's appalling. It's an appalling state of affairs.
What happens is, citizens are driven to file RTI applications, write complaints, follow up repeatedly by going to the BMC, and they put themselves in harm's way when they take it upon themselves to do something that the law enforcers should be doing and the BMC should be doing. That is, keeping illegal constructions, unauthorized constructions at bay. And they don't do it. And because they don't do it, a frustrated citizen goes and gets himself shot, because eventually he incurs the enmity of a corporator. And again, you're perfectly right, corporators across party lines are deriving huge illegal incomes from setting up all kind of, they're part of all kinds of rackets, encroachment of lands that are reserved plots or slums. They become slumlords, they set up panpattis and...
How much money are we talking about here that this sort of murder becomes commonplace? Charan Singh Sapra, Razak Khan was a member of the Congress Party. He's a former corporator representing the Congress Party. What is the Congress Party's reaction to this today? What do you have to say?
No, this is definitely condemnable and it is a heinous act. I am not here to defend Razak Khan. He is not a Congress member since last 5 years. So let me make it clear that if he is accused today and tomorrow if he becomes a convict, the law should take its own course. But the situation overall, if you see the Commonwealth Human Rights Initiative, the data given by them, more than 60 people, 60 RTI activists, either they have been threatened or they have been thrashed or they have been killed in last 3 years. So the law and order situation in the state is going from bad to worse. It needs to be corrected. Corrective measures are to be taken by the government. I feel the Whistleblower Protection Act 2015 should be implemented strictly, where these people will get protection. Number one, they will have a protection that their names will not be revealed, it will not be disclosed. Number two, if they go to the police station, strict cognizance will be taken by the police.
Charan Singh Sapra, at the end of the day, if the police doesn't act, this is all lip service. Shailesh Gandhi, it just seems like lip service today.
Yes,
on a day when we have lost an RTI activist who was fighting for justice in this country.
The act has to be implemented seriously and strictly.
Charan Singh Sapra, I don't know how we're going to ensure that the act will be implemented seriously. I want to bring in Shailesh Gandhi. Shailesh Gandhi, on behalf of RTI activists in the city today, tell us the kind of threats you receive. Tell us the kind of help you receive from the police.
No, okay, I must concede I've never received a threat. But that's not the point. The point is threats are being received, people are being murdered. And let me give you one example. What is happening overall? Most people in power do not like RTI. Today, across the nation, there are people who say RTI people are blackmailers and misusers. How you can misuse a fundamental right, I have no understanding. There is an assistant commissioner in Mumbai of the BMC who issued a list of 70 blackmailers using RTI. And when asked, he said there was no proof, he just felt that it was blackmailers. This is what is happening, and everybody in power, and I am saying from the highest in this land to the lowest, this has become a very common thing. We need to fight this. As far as Bhupendra is concerned, he is martyred himself. What most of these RTI activists are trying to do is to do the job of public officials who are getting salaries to do their job. They do not do their job. And when people like Bhupendra complain about it, bring it to their attention, they call these people blackmailers, harassers, misusers of RTI. And because they are collecting haftas, they will not take cognizance of this until somebody dies. And this is no way for a society to work. It's horrible. And the Whistleblower Act that gentleman was talking about is a complete fiction. The Whistleblower Act is a completely negative thing. It is going to achieve nothing. I've looked at the draft carefully. There was some good provisions which have also now been diluted. Do you understand that if a person goes in a whistleblowing and complains, he could invite up to 2 years in prison? And there are 10 things for which he cannot complain. We must be the only unique whistleblower act in this world, or bill, right now it's a bill, which says 10 things you cannot complain about. There's a list of them. Then it says, if you complain and your complaint is found to be false, you could be prosecuted and given 2 years imprisonment. What kind of whistleblower act is this? And as you rightly pointed out, even if we get a very good act, how will it get implemented is the critical issue. Unless we address this, my belief is, in this particular case, incidentally, the Maharashtra Chief Information Commissioner, within hours of my sending a complaint, has taken cognizance of this and given appropriate directions to authorities, saying all RTI applications of Bhupendra should be revealed and the information should be revealed. I believe the Chief Secretary should take the step of getting a weekly briefing from the Police Commissioner of Mumbai, and they should ensure that everyone against whom complaints are made, all these complaints are taken cognizance of and put up on websites.
You know,
so that
I want to point out here,
we can get some accountability.
I want to also point out here the state of affairs in law and order. When we are talking about illegal construction RTI on one side, at 9:30 in the evening in Vakola in Mumbai, in a middle class colony, someone walked into a man's home and shot him in the head while his wife was in the other room. This is the level of cold-blooded crime we are talking about here. And I still can't wrap my head around the fact that this was all about illegal construction. How much money are we talking about in this illegal construction? Abha Singh, this just the level, the heinous level of this crime is shocking.
The issue is it's not small money, it's actually big money and easy money, because it is primarily government land which is encroached. constructed upon. The local ward officers, they are hand in glove. They don't check when these illegal constructions come up. And when a law-abiding RTI activist exposes it, then he becomes the victim of these criminals, and that is what has happened. In the High Court, I am handling whistleblower Sandeep Shetty's murder case, and when I see the file, it is shocking that in spite of the High Court giving the matter to CBI, 4 years have gone, but the killers have not been caught, and now CBI has submitted a closure report, which we are now protesting in the High Court. So what I am trying to say that police is unable to catch hold of these criminals, and that is the reason, and it appears they are hand in glove, because builders, illegal construction is big money, and haftas go to the BMC and the police, and that is why these criminals are emboldened to kill the RTI activists. And rightly, the Bombay High Court has also not been very supportive of the RTI activists. So many times the judges, they feel that these activists are blackmailers or they have vested interest, and in some cases Bombay High Court has ordered that in case you want to do a PIL, you must deposit a certain amount of money. So when these honest activists are looked down upon with disdain, definitely the criminals are even more emboldened. The government never gives security. The policemen are there giving security to film stars, builders, politicians, their sons-in-laws, but these genuine activists who must be given protection are not given, because I think the government is not interested that this corruption should come out, or the whistleblowers should actually blow the whistle. And rightly so, the Whistleblower Act is just a myth, and these people are the easy targets, and that is why he just walked in. It clearly shows the police did not give protection, and maybe the corporator who is involved had the blessings of the police, which emboldened him to murder the RTI activist.
Obviously, he thought the long arm of the law was just not long enough in this case. Vikram Singh, shouldn't there be action taken against the police officer who received the complaint about threats and did nothing about it after repeated pleas for protection?
Obviously, Faye, the police have a lot of explaining to do. This is an avoidable tragedy. If, in spite of the fact that the deceased lodged a complaint with the police and did not get police protection in spite of his lodging a complaint, well, the police not only should be immediately, those officers be placed under suspension, but it calls for their dismissal also. Now, it all smacks of an organized crime, a crime syndicate that operates with impunity, and the manner in which this killing took place. Obviously,
so Vikram Singh, for the benefit of my viewers, when you say crime syndicate, you mean it was a hired assassin?
Executed the murder.
You mean it was a hitman, a hired assassin? Is that what you're saying?
Yes. The manner in which, yes, the manner in which it was executed goes to show the level of professionalism, which would go to indicate that they were hired contract killers who were professionals. There's also a rumor that they probably used silencers because the lady of the house could not hear the gunshot or the report of the gun. Obviously, the television was being played, but the gun report is so loud that you can go beyond the television sounds, and it cannot go unnoticed. And if a silencers were used or a sophisticated small weapon like a pistol or a revolver used, then it is a matter of extreme concern for the local police also. And obviously there is a nexus between the corrupt policemen, the BMC and the underworld, which is responsible for this murder. And those arrested, I would strongly recommend, and in your show I have repeatedly requested, but not a single case of Makoka has been executed till on date, either whether it be the assault on policemen, whether it is the assault on senior officers or in such murders. After all, when will you invoke the provisions of the Makoka? The BMC, the police, both are accountable, but in the present case, we should see to it that those police officers who were found wanting in the proactive response, they should be taken to task immediately.
Sujay, Kantawala, this sort of thing happening in our city is shocking. But it's, you know, the truth about it is, and what Vikram and Abha are saying is absolutely right, that it just shows how deep-rooted the corruption is, or how far-reaching it is, through the corporators, through the police, through the entire law and order system.
I agree with all my friends on the show, and see, the RTI Act is actually in public interest. It's a beautiful piece of legislation to bring out the corruption. And the citizens are empowered in that. Every one of us is an RTI activist in that sense. We condemn corruption.
The truth of it is that while we might all fancy ourselves RTI activists, not all of us are taking that risk, and it is a risk now.
Yes.
Let's be honest about the fact that RTI activists are putting their lives on the line every day, because it's not hard if the system is hand in glove with the corrupt. It's not hard to find out where that letter came from and who demanded the information.
So therefore, the state has failed in its obligation to protect its citizen, who was also an RTI activist. And it is a dastardly act, highly condemnable, and therefore I suggest that there should be an immediate charge sheet which should be filed. All of the structures which were involved of Razak Khan and his family should be immediately looked into and demolished. A clear-cut message should be sent to all such people who are going to take such kind of illegal action and who are going to harm other citizens who are doing a public duty. And I feel that once a charge sheet is filed and it is fast-tracked, there should be conviction which should be swift. And send a clear-cut message. And our judiciary, what Abha said that in certain cases the High Court has not helped. I also want to say that
Sujay,
I'm extremely proud of our judiciary and our RTI activists also. All of them are doing their own job in their own way.
No, but Sujay, let's point out the fact that while Razak Khan and his son and one of his sons, Amjad Khan, and this is one, he has several sons who have been making threatening phone calls. One of them have been taken into custody. The actual shooter in this case has not been picked up. So if like Vikram Singh was saying, if it smacks of organized crime, if it smacks of a hired hitman, that hired hitman has not been picked up. The police don't know who it is and who's at fault here.
And it is so brazen that he was at his house. This man comes and shoots him in cold blood in his house. So all of us are that way at threat, and there is a clear and present danger that we would be relaxing in a house and not even walking on the road somewhere in some lane. Yeah. He comes into your house, he shoots you in cold blood. What more can be damning than this? And therefore, I feel that the police should immediately pull up their socks and send a clear-cut message that, look, we are here, we are one of the best police force in the world.
I don't know. I mean, Shailesh, Gandhi, tell me this. Is there any way now, after what has happened today, for the police to sort of assure you that they are here and they are one of the best forces in the world and they are actually on your side?
They never are.
Fairy tales are nice, but they don't actually occur in life, unfortunately. But I would say we should insist that the police, the faulty policemen should be acted against. The BMC officials who were conniving in this should be acted against, and if action is taken against all such people, and as the gentleman suggested, all the illegal structures are demolished, maybe then there is likely to be some protection for those who try and do the right thing, because then the wrongdoer should feel that something will happen to him. And as far as this investigation and fast track courts is concerned, let me tell you, 90% what is going to happen, the investigation will go on for years, and in case the police find him guilty, the courts will take another 3 times the number of years. In the meantime, he'll find a way of getting out. This is very unfortunate, but it is true, and this is what emboldens all criminals and people to take criminal actions. If we had a proper investigation system in a time-bound manner, if we had a proper judicial system in a time-bound manner, there would be some hope, which is difficult right now.
Faye, there's an elephant in the room.
Please.
The syndicate, the elephant in the room, is more or less, I mean, it sounds damning and it sounds sweeping, but every BMC official, I am sure, either knows of his colleagues conniving, looking the other way, or is himself part of it. And every corporator cutting across party lines either knows of other corporators who make this upar ki amdani from illegal constructions, from encroachments, from being a godfather to slums, from all kinds of illicit behavior, and covering up for his colleagues. Every single party, corporator, MLA and MP.
But what's the solution? Krishna, what's the solution for an RTI activist like yourself? What sort of reassurance would you want now, and from who?
Okay, as Shailesh bhai rightly says, Veera has become a martyr to his cause because he represents something that all of us are doing in varying degrees. He has outdone us all in some in a sense. What we would want is for BMC to start taking action. When a complaint comes, don't dodge it. Do your duty. When an RTI application comes that reveals the wrongdoing, please be open, hand it over, and don't just hand it over and let the citizen run with the ball. You run with the ball because the RTI activist is doing your work.
I don't think it's always seen like that. I don't think it's always seen like that. This is, I want to point out to our viewers from other cities, this is not something that's specific to Mumbai. A few months ago, an RTI activist in Chennai was hacked to death in broad daylight in the middle of a busy street. And this is the sort of reality that we are living with today, where nobody wants the RTI activist to point out the fault in the system. Nobody wants him, wants to be stopped in the manner in which they are continuing business as usual in our country. Suleiman, I understand, is on the phone line right now. Suleiman? Okay, we're going to get Suleiman on the phone line. But, there are several failures here. One is of the state government. One is of the law and order system, of the police, and of the BMC. And the BMC is continuously talking about how it's cleaning up the system and cleaning up corruption. Is there enough being done? Abha Singh, all of this talk that we're hearing from the BMC commissioner on how he's cleaning up his building approvals process and he's cleaning up his, his road approvals process. Do you think that's what's the need of the hour at this point? Because it seems like there are people right now who are former corporators, not even current corporators, who have a lot of power.
All this BMC trying to fight corruption is just on paper. Nobody is serious about it. The scam goes into thousands of crores, and not only the present corporator, I think the past, present and the future, everyone who's hoping is involved into this. And this, as I said, is easy, quick money. You grab a piece of land, make an illegal constructions. Since BMC gives you all approvals, and even without approvals, if you have a permission of a 6-story building, you make 60 stories, and then the money is so much, the stakes are so high that people are ready to violate any law pertaining to BMC, and the BMC officers get such a huge cut, they just look the other way. That is primarily the reason that illegal buildings have come up. And when the RTI activists or concerned citizens raise these issues, they are bumped off, they are killed, or they are threatened. And all this illegal construction cannot happen without the connivance of the BMC, and that is why the ward officer of the area where Razak corporators had made these illegal constructions, he needs to be dismissed, arrested and put behind bars. Definitely Makoka sort of charges should be put on these people, because it has become an organized crime where supari is given out to the sharpshooters to come and wipe out kill the RTI activists. So BMC officers first need to be arrested, dismissed, because without their blessings, no illegal construction can take place in Mumbai, even in the beginning. Sujay?
See, therefore, I am once again saying that we have a very vibrant, healthy and aware judiciary. Building after building, the top floors have been chopped off. Orders and orders have been passed.
It takes too long.
Water acts have been taken. But then if you are going to complain against everyone and lose hope and complain against everyone that this is corrupt, this is bad, this is system, this is not working.
So when you say complain against everyone, you mean the RTI activists complaining against everyone, or you mean the media complaining against everyone?
Why don't you see the positive side that what the judiciary is doing?
The judiciary takes too long.
The court is super quick to give stay orders.
Yes.
The court is super quick to give stay orders. The court is super quick to protect the status quo.
Don't give stay. By the time the case is decided, the building is ready.
So what do? You have
that's the question. What do we do?
Buildings get put up overnight, literally over a weekend.
Sujay, I want to point out to you that everybody on this panel has been asking for fast track of justice. Now, if you have to sit together here on a night like this, looking at a crime like this and demand fast track of justice, it means that justice is already slow in this country. We know that the number of cases that are pending in Indian courts, it will take what was the estimate? 400 years to get through all of them? That's how long it takes. That's how long the judiciary takes in this country.
That is the problem. Why don't you address the problem? The Chief Justice of India had to break down that the government had not passed the list of judges Now, if that is the problem, if we don't have courts, we don't have judges, then the justice delivery system is going to suffer. But why are we then cribbing about it?
So what would you rather have us do? What would you rather have us do? Where is the solution here? Tell me where the solution is.
No, I understand that there is a problem, but there is no point in saying that the judges are not doing their job or the judiciary is not doing their job.
I'm saying justice is too slow.
Urgency.
Look, my friend, you have no other choice. We have a vibrant judiciary. We should have unconditional faith in the judiciary.
We are here to protect us. We have a somnolent judiciary.
The judiciary is here to protect us.
Shailesh Gandhi.
Is the only constitutional leg in which I have faith today.
Incidentally, on this judicially issue, sir, let me point out, this whole myth of judicial inaccuracy is a myth. Really speaking, there are about 22,000 judges totally sanctioned in the nation, and never is the vacancy less than 20%. That is the problem. If those 20% are filled up, there are about 3 crore cases in all the courts together. 2 crore come in and 2 crore are cleared every year. Nobody is willing to even look at arithmetic. But that apart, I mean, this is not a discussion on judiciary. All I am saying is this is a myth. But the point I want to make is, are we sensitive enough to a death to say that at the very least, look, fast track courts are not going to work. Can we therefore insist that in the next 1 month or 2 months, the Chief Secretary shows us proof, the Municipal Commissioner shows us proof that everybody who labels RTI users as harassers, blackmailers, because that's precisely what is happening, will be taken action against? Can we ensure that all the complaints Mr. Bhupendra had made will be addressed and the results put out on the website? If they do this, maybe there will be some solution, some extra protection to RTI users and people who are fighting the system.
And can we look at the sources of income?
And to add to what Shailesh is saying, I fully agree with what Shailesh is saying. A clear-cut message only then in those circumstances will be passed on. That is the need of the hour.
I know Vikram Singh has a point to make.
Razak, it's not only Congress. I'm not defending Congress for 1 second. But what I'm saying here is, why is it that a citizen must go out of his way to show that a corporator has sources of income beyond his known sources of income? Why must an individual go out of his way to show this to BMC, try to show it to income tax, try to file cases with Anti-Corruption Bureau, which is very reluctant to file cases? Why is it that a citizen must do all this? Why are they not proactive? Why can they not be proactive? That is why can't parties like to talk about clean all the time?
RTI has empowered every citizen. The RTI Act has empowered every citizen for that reason.
Yes, it has empowered us, and we are willingly going out of our way and into harm's way. And we shall continue doing so, by the way. Notwithstanding any number of murders, yes, we shall continue doing so, because that is the way we are. But the question is that the price our motherland expects from us? Is this how we must be?
No, not definitely.
Is this how our nation must be? Is this how BMC must be? Is this how police must be? Must police be so insensitive? Will they file an FIR if some proof is clearly given to them? And the answer, I say, is no. They are reluctant to file FIRs against powers that be, against builders, against corporators, against slumlords. There is an invisible wall of protection there. This is a syndicate. This is the syndicate we are talking about. This is the elephant in the room. And we continue to... Razak is not an isolated corporator. Please believe me. He is not isolated. We have got...
There are so many Razaks roaming.
There are so many Razaks in various parties, in every party. Why are we not trying to... Why will the BMC not go out and go after them? Why do their parties not go after them? Why do we have to go after them? That is the question. Why are we putting ourselves in harm's way?
Why are citizens putting themselves in harm's way? Abha Singh and Vikram Singh, the idea of this RTI Act without a whistleblower policy to follow it up, and all of that together, when there is enough corruption in the system, like Krishnaraj was pointing out, enough corruption in the system to protect anyone who's committing a crime. What is the citizen to do? Abha Singh.
In fact, again, I would say Sandeep Shetty's murder in Nasik, where he had Pune, where he had complained to the police. even after giving a complaint to the police, lodging an FIR that his life is in danger because he's exposing the land sharks, 40 days after his complaint, he was shot dead. So this is there, and no policeman has been dismissed from service. No killer has been caught till now. So what I'm trying to say is that they gave the RTI Act, but actually the safety of the RTI activists was never envisaged. Very few people get security. That security is also maximum one constable who would be there for barely a short while. So the government is not serious. I think till the time the courts make it specific that every person, activist who has a record of exposing corruption comes and asks for security, it would be the duty of the government to give security, because without protecting the whistleblowers, I think the RTI Act is not much of use, because after these spate of murders of RTI activists, not many people would come forward and expose corruption, expose these land sharks, because they would be threatening their lives. So definitely it is high time that the government came with a roadmap.
Abha, rely on it. There will always be people who will do this, irrespective of Vira.
But tell me, Krishnaraj, Shailesh Gandhi, if you're saying you're going to continue to do this irrespective of what happened today, irrespective of the spate of murders we've seen, what is your motivation? Why would you continue to do this?
We continue to do it because I'll tell you something, Faye, we take it personally, okay? And I think Vira got murdered because he took it personally. He said, I'm going to bring down this man's evil empire. All of us willy-nilly drift into this situation, drift into a situation of a battle of good versus evil, and we end up, yes, we think we are not in harm's way, but we eventually end up in harm's way. There are thousands of activists in Mumbai today fighting this battle and standing at risk, which is comparable to where Vira was standing.
I think they are doing a commendable job, and they are true patriots.
Yes, we are true patriots, and we don't even call ourselves that. Let me tell you that. We don't think of ourselves in those grandiose terms. We just do it because it comes to us, and I can salute thousands of them. And okay, one of the anniversaries of RTI Act just passed recently, so it would be the 11th anniversary. All I can say is, Vira, we salute you, and this is the power of RTI, and the power of RTI shall continue. We shall not be daunted by such things, and we are not daunted. No.
An RTI activist who's martyred in the fight against political terrorism. That's where we are here today, and he was fighting on our behalf. Vikram Singh, it is a very, very sad day for every citizen of India to have lost one who was fighting against corruption in our system. But do you believe, like Sujay was pointing out, do you believe that the judiciary is still the only place where we can look to for help? Is the judiciary fast enough? Is the spirit of the judiciary fast enough?
Faye, I would say that I totally agree with Mr. Sujay, and this was an avoidable tragedy. I do certainly would say that judiciary is indeed our last resort, but I cannot apportion or cannot absolve the police of their responsibility, as also the BMC. What we can do, and which is perfectly doable, every RTI activist takes a calculated risk, and that is why unfortunately so many have been done to death, including in Uttaranchal, UP, Delhi, you name the state, and such horrific incidents have happened. But it is perfectly doable to identify sensational cases and put them on a fast track mode, and ensure the police leadership have it in them to charge sheet such cases in the record time of, say, maybe 15 to 25 days. Let this be on the fast track court. Give exemplary punishment. Invoke the provisions of the National Security Act, the MACOCA. Give exemplary punishment. Break their back and the financial foundation. Give exemplary punishment to at least 10 hardcore people in every district, and you see for yourself what salutary impact it will have on the law and order situation and on the morale of the RTI activists, and also building up the confidence and the morale of the general public. But today what happened is that crime, politics and economics are so closely intertwined, it is difficult to find a person who would be seemingly standing by the side of RTI activists and the public.
You know, I also want to at this point examine this argument that a lot of people have made on this channel to us, that RTI activists are also in some cases blackmailers. Charan Singh Sapra, I apologize, I haven't brought you into the conversation up till now, but calling RTI activists blackmailers who use information to have their way, that that thought should completely be punished as soon as it rears its ugly head, shouldn't it? Charan Singh Sapra.
No, I don't believe in this, that all the RTI activists are the blackmailers. There might be very few at a very lower level. But the kind of work what Mr. Bhupendra Vira was doing, or Mr. Shailesh Gandhi is doing, or the other RTI activists, they are very respectful person, and they are always going behind the factual thing. Where there's an illegal dealing going on, they are trying to handle that. They are trying the empowerment which has been given to them through RTI. They are making full use of that. I agree with Sujay, Kantawala and all the other panelists that a fast track court has to be set. I remember Sandeep Kothari, he was brutally murdered, he was dragged, he was strangled, he was burnt. And before him, Abrar Sheikh from Bhiwandi. Still, I don't think so that charge sheets are filed, or maybe the case is going on. I am not aware of this. I have never heard of this. So there needs to be a fast track court for the cases which are already going on. So a message goes to the people, to the masses, that they don't have to indulge in all this. So fast track court is needed. The judicial system has to put its foot down. They have to make the government more serious. The BMC should become more serious and more accountable. They can't just go on like
Charan
this.
Singh Sapra, are you saying that we can't call all RTI activists, blackmailers, but there are some bad apples? Is that what you suggested?
Very few. Like there are bad apples everywhere.
But I don't understand. If let's assume I put up an illegal building, whether or not I have my permissions will allow someone to blackmail me. If my building is completely illegal, how can anybody blackmail me? I don't understand. What bad apples are we talking about here? Shailesh Gandhi, Krishnaraj, what bad apples are we talking? How can anybody blackmail me if everything I'm doing is illegal?
I'm sorry.
At a very lower level.
I'm sorry. Very responsible people in this nation have used language saying RTI should not be allowed to damage the peace, harmony and integrity of India. This is language that is better used for terrorists. How can you misuse a fundamental right? Comparatively, your freedom of speech can be more misused. You can allege something, you can talk about something, media can blackmail, and yet nobody talks of any blackmail or misuse there. But everybody talks of misuse and blackmail in RTI. Why is this? This is because it is hurting those seriously. Freedom of speech is not able to hurt them. Right to information, you only get information that is on record fair, as you said. If it is an illegal building, then you get the information. If it's not an illegal building, how can you blackmail anybody?
How can you blackmail someone who has not done anything wrong? Krishnaraj, how can you blackmail someone? Even if there were, let's assume, 3 bad apples like Charan Singh Sapra suggests, what will they do?
Say, if someone has done wrong, that is unauthorized work, illegal work, he makes himself vulnerable. He should be vulnerable first and foremost to the BMC official. Now the BMC official doesn't do the job, covers it up, actively covers up and shields the wrongdoer, even when an RTI activist comes. I would like to propose one way of looking at it, Faye. It's not the guy, it's not the assassin with the gun who shot Veera in his head. That's not the one assassin. We have a whole bunch of assassins sitting there in BMC
who all have blood on their hands today.
Who have blood on their hands because they turned away each time Veera pointed it out that this is an illegal structure and this is an illegal structure. He was filing RTI applications, he was filing complaints, he was running to Lokayukta. He had to go to Lokayukta to get a demolition order on some of the properties.
Correct.
The fact that all these BMC officials were positively shielding the crime, they have blood on their hands, and I would like to see them cleaned up first. And if you want to send a message, clean up those guys first.
Clean up the BMC first. It's not the fast track court, it's the cleaning up of the BMC. And this is the truth. All of these things we're seeing today are symptoms of the disease of corruption that plagues our local offices, and it plagues every single municipality in our cities, whether we're talking about Delhi or Mumbai or Chennai or Bangalore. There's corruption at the local level that's costing us dearly in space and in money, and now it's costing our lives. Shailesh Gandhi.
can we at least agree, because the gentleman did not counter the issue of blackmail. I am suggesting that at least an enlightened panel like this should agree that the whole concept of blackmail is flawed. It's a myth spread to deter people from doing something. And Faye, just 10 seconds. And I would like to quote Bob Dylan. And how many years must one man have before he can hear people crying? And how many deaths will it take till he knows that too many people have died? The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. And that's what we are today doing. RTI activists will continue, as Krishnaraj says. They will not stop. They will not be stopped by all of this. But the nation must realize that it needs to help them, because these are very valuable people who are doing valuable service to the nation, mostly, usually with no monetary gain of any kind at all.
How many more
people? And this, I think, is very important. At least the lesson, if Vira's death results in this.
Absolutely.
How many people? Yes, indeed.
Vikram Singh, everybody in the system has blood on their hands today, but I want to focus on the fact that we cannot call RTI activists blackmailers. It's that sort of an attitude that has brought us to where we are today.
Absolutely, Faye. I couldn't agree with Mr. Shailesh Gandhi more than what he has said. Powerful words. But in every system, there are good people and there are bad people. But the number of bad people, questionable background in the RTI activists is minimal. And it is alleged, I say it is alleged, that those indulging in data mining
here are my questions to
mercenary
you.
and lucrative
How can
purposes,
anyone blackmail you if you've done nothing wrong? First of all. Secondly, even if someone was blackmailing you, how can we have reached a point today where we're sitting around talking about one human being being shot at point blank, cold blood in his living room while he was watching television? What sort of bad apple are we referring to at this point? What sort of risk are we talking about? How have we gotten to this state in our law and order system?
The mess that we have created for ourselves is unpardonable. The level to which our depravity has reached, I mean, the less said the better. I would not say anything or apportion blame to the police or the BMC, but it needs corrective measures, it needs course correction, it needs drastic surgery to set things right, both at the police level, investigation level, providing security on the basis of genuine threat perception, and thereafter. And investigation has to be qualitative, it has to be a no-nonsense investigation, and taking all factors into account, should complete the investigation in record time and given the charge sheet to the court of law.
Okay, Vikram Singh, tell me, if this were to happen, if a strong investigation were to be done and we actually saw convictions, where should that intention come from? Should it be the police? Should it be the state government? Where should the intention come from? Where should we expect that announcement to be made from?
I would expect the ecosystem in the police, the resilience of the police, a no-nonsense approach to the fact, the police leadership, their maturity and the commitment to the cause of the nation and to unimpeachable integrity that they are expected to have. They should be answerable to the people, to the nation and to the constitution, and therefore it is something that is absolutely doable and they should rise to the occasion.
The police should rise to the occasion, but Abha Singh, and I'll come to you, Krishnaraj. Abha Singh, do the police rise to the occasion without first receiving explicit instructions to rise to the occasion? Do they rise to the occasion on their own, in your experience?
Not at all. In fact, policemen are used by builders to evict slum dwellers, to grab land, and the maximum money into the cops in the police stations is coming through land grabs and illegal constructions. So the initiative from the police is not going to come. In fact,
sweeping generalization,
comes up, the local police and the local BMC ward officer, they are the ones who give the maximum protection for illegal construction. So till the time there's a government will and the public rises to it, I am sure nothing is going to happen.
No. Abha, don't paint such a gloomy picture. Please, don't paint.
You can see the number of buildings which have come up illegally. Nobody raises their voice because everybody knows the amount of money that is involved. There is a clear land grabbing and it's all government land which is taken away.
We are all part of the society. All of us have to do our job.
It is the
judiciary is there, the police are there, the police are.
But where are the police? Sujay, Kantawala, where are the police if this RTI RTI activist has complained to the police a month ago. And let me remind you, this is the other story that's developing right now is that his son was stabbed 4 months ago by the same people. 4 years ago by the same people. 4 years ago. And they went to the police. Nothing was done. So how do you expect anyone to have faith in this system?
No, Faye, I agree that it's condemnable. It's very sad that we have lost a soldier like Veera. It's very sad. Let me say it again and again. And we are all saying that. But then, look, we have a police force. We have to have some faith. We have to pull them up, I agree. We have a judiciary. But these kind of debates, and I appreciate your efforts and all my friends on the show, unless we keep on shouting from the top of our rooftops, only then these people will wake up. And that is what we, intelligentsia, a society, an intelligent society, a vibrant society can do.
Shouting, Sujay,
but do not please paint a picture that everything is lost and everything is gloomy and we are down falling a dark crevice and there is no hope. Please don't say that.
It is. Please see the number of activists that have been killed. Please come to the ground level and see the number of RTI activists that have been killed.
55.
It is very
So what
easy
will you do by criticizing the system?
And make these statements. Come to the grassroots
The system deserves criticism, Sujay Kantawala.
No, not criticizing. You have to straighten up the system. You have to see that these corrupt policemen who are protecting the builders, these corrupt policemen who are protecting the corporators. It's high time that these corrupt
when you talk of the system, Abhaji, politicians and lawyers are all a part of the system.
Exactly, we are all part of the system. I agree with Mr. Vikram
Don't take a strong action.
You cannot give there are some good things also that are happening. Please be fair.
We are letting the political heads get away very easily over here. Okay, we have got Charan Singh Sapra. We don't have any party chief sitting here on this panel. And their silence is deafening. You will notice that they don't want to talk about it because
let me
their
also point out
cadres,
that we had made phone calls.
Who doesn't want to talk
we are not talking about you, Charan Singh.
Who doesn't want to talk about it?
Let me
We are
acknowledge
saying that the political class as a whole.
Let me acknowledge that Charan Singh Sapra came to this panel.
Yes.
None of the other political parties agreed to be part of this conversation.
So hats
None
off.
of them, accepted our invitation.
Faye, I would like to make a couple of things clear now.
They would not like to condemn other politicians.
Discretion is the
Discretion
is the
give me
better part
20
of valor.
seconds.
They knew what was coming in the show, and therefore discretion is the better part of valor.
All right, Charan Singh Sapra, 30 seconds, I have to wrap up the show. Go ahead, Charan Singh Sapra.
Yeah, Faye, I would like to say to this gentleman who has been talking against the political system or the political leaders that it was Congress party who conceived this idea of RTI and who got it implemented.
And hats off to you.
It was Congress party who went off the parliament when the BJP was diluting the Whistleblower Protection Act. The BJP has diluted it. It was Congress which was opposing, and Sonia Gandhi and all the Congress member parliaments, they went out when this discussion was on.
So we are not talking about Congress party.
We don't want it.
Charan
So
ji.
Unfortunately, we've run out of time. We've run out of time.
All party chiefs are silent on this.
We have been fighting for this RTI.
Charan Singh ji, all party chiefs are going to be silent on this. They came out to talk about Nirbhaya, but they are going to be silent when an RTI activist dies.
When I have condemned it, you have to exclude Congress from that.
No, we cannot exclude Congress from it because Congress corporators are as corrupt as the others.
No, Charan Singh ji,
not less.
That would be wishful thinking.
Not less,
He's not a Congress corporator. He was a Congress
go looking for them, you will find them.
He's not a member of Congress party.
We are not saying that Razak is an isolated case, but it is not only Congress, it is across party lines. But the filth is across party lines.
I have to wrap up this show, but I want to point out to our audience one thing. The names that we've been calling out, the fact that this sort of rotten corruption runs right through the entire system. Every RTI activist in your neighborhood is fighting for your rights. He is a soldier who is fighting for your rights against political and police terrorism. You have to support the RTI activist in your neighborhood. You have to look out for him. You have to make sure as a neighborhood that you make sure that he is safe. That's on us. These are soldiers who are fighting for our rights against the entire system. We have to look out for them as if they are our own, because they are our own. That's the thought I want to leave you with. If there is an RTI activist in your neighborhood, find out who he is and offer him or her your support. that's what we can do today to honor the memory of Bhupendra Vira, who lost his life in the fight against corruption, a fight that we should all join in. My contact details are on your screen. Thanks for watching.